So in the last lecture we were doing the mechanism and the camera just wonked out. So let's just do it once again over here. क्या कर रहे थे हम लोग कि when we are doing a compound like this, as I just said, that whenever any reaction that is going to take place by the formation of a carbocation, in that case always check the possibility of a 3-degree carbocation. Like if you're taking a compound like this, the carbocation, the positive charge that is going to come on this carbon atom. But if there is going to be a hydride shift which will take place, the positive charge that can come on this carbon atom. So we have over here CH, ठीक है? ये आ गया हमारे पास. जब हम इसके साथ ये ऊपर वाला रिएक्शन करेंगे C2H5OH in presence of concentrated H2SO4, the major product is going to be CH3C, CH3O, C2H5, CH2, CH2. Right? So instead of the attack of the nucleophile on this carbon atom, the attack of the nucleophile that is going to be on this carbon atom because of stability of a 3-degree carbocation. So wherever nucleophilic substitution reactions are taking place by the formation of a carbocation, I am telling you again and again that please check the possibility of formation of a carbocation. That is going to be the major product. So it may be either hydride shift, 1,2 hydride shift, or it may be either 1,2 methyl shift. So either of the two can take place. Okay? So this was a little portion which we missed onto in our previous lecture which we were doing. Now the next what we are going to do is the general characteristics of ether. Let's go on to the properties of ether. We are going to discuss over here physical and chemical properties both, right? So let's go on to the general characteristics of ethers. First we will discuss the physical properties of ethers. Now when we are talking of physical properties of ethers, it is seen that the lower members like dimethyl ether or ethyl-methyl ether, they are going to be gases. So the lower members are going to be gases and the higher members, they are colorless liquids. The reason behind this is that as the number of carbon atoms will increase, the forces of attraction will also increase, as a result of which they are going to exist as liquids. Now they have a very specific kind of a smell, a very fruity kind of a smell which is known as ethereal smell, right? So all of them, they are going to have this specific smell of ethers which is known as ethereal smell. Now they are going to be only sparingly soluble in water, they are going to be only sparingly soluble in water, but they are readily soluble in all the organic solvents. Okay? It is also seen that ethers themselves behave as solvents. They are going to themselves behave as solvents. Now, boiling point will keep on increasing with increase in number of carbon atoms. With increase in number of carbon atoms, the reason being the same, that as the molecular mass will increase, van der Waals forces of attraction will increase, and hence the boiling point will also increase. So they have lower boiling points than alcohols because of because of less hydrogen bonding. The hydrogen bonding in alcohols, that is going to be more extensive than in case of ethers, because the hydrogen bonding in case of ethers, that is going to be less. Therefore, it is seen that the boiling points, they are going to be low in case of ethers. Also, the net dipole moment is less. This is because of 2 electron releasing alkyl groups present. So the dipole moment, that is going to be less, right? We've already studied that they have a bent structure with a bond angle of 120, and they are going to be dipolar in nature. So they are polar molecules. Okay, they are going to be dipolar in nature because of the electronegativity difference between the oxygen and the alkyl group. Now the lower members, lower ethers are going to behave as good anesthetics. So they are now generally replaced, or they replace carbon tetrachloride, they replace chloroform, CHCl3, which was previously used as an anesthetic. You've already done in yellow alkanes कि जो chloroform होता है, when it is exposed to air, it forms phosgene, which is a poisonous gas, because of which its use is now being reduced. And the ethers, the lower members of ethers, they are going to replace chloroform as anesthetics. Okay? Then let's go on to the chemical properties of ethers. Chemical properties of ethers. Now we will see that ethers, they are going to be less reactive than alcohols. The reason behind that is that they have 2 active functional group, right? So they do not have any active functional group. In case of alcohols, there is an active OH group which is going to be present, which can be easily substituted, and hence that is going to be more reactive. Now it is seen that the ethers, they do not react with bases, okay? They are not going to react with reducing agents, and they are not going to react with oxidizing agents, and active metals. Okay, so they will not react with all of these because of their low reactivity. Now over here we are going to differentiate the chemical reactions. They are going to be reactions only pertaining to the alkyl groups. We are going to study reactions of ethereal oxygen. So we are going to categorize the reactions of ethers into different steps. Let's go on to the first one. The first reactions which we are going to do, they are reactions of the alkyl group. Okay, now the first reaction which we are doing over here, that is halogenation reaction. We will see that the carbon atom which is next to oxygen, the hydrogen of that carbon atom is going to be replaced by halogen. So we are taking diethyl ether. We are going to react this with chlorine, but we are going to keep the reaction conditions as dark. The reaction will take place in dark when one of the hydrogens attached to the next carbon or atom of oxygen, that is going to be substituted. Right? And if you're taking excess of chlorine over here, Again, reaction conditions, they are going to be dark. This is going to give us this is what we are going to get. Okay. Now, if you're doing the same reaction in excess of chlorine, but we are reacting this in presence of light, it will be seen that all the hydrogens, they are going to be substituted by chlorine over here. So this is going to be C2Cl5O C2Cl5. All the hydrogens, they are going to be substituted, right? And this is known as perchlorodiethyl ether. This is known as perchlorodiethyl ether. So you can see the difference over here कि अगर dark पे हम react कर रहे हैं तो only one of the hydrogen that is being substituted, but if you're doing the same reaction in excess of chlorine and in light, then that is going to substitute all the hydrogens which are present in the ether. ठीक है? फिर उसके बाद second जो इसमें reaction आता है, that is burning. Burning of ethers or combustion of ethers. ठीक है? Now over here when we are looking at ethers, it is seen that ethers, they are highly inflammable. They are very, very reactive towards oxygen, and as soon as combustion is going to take place, immediately it will give us carbon dioxide plus water. So we're taking over here CH3O, CH3 plus oxygen. It is going to give us carbon dioxide plus water. ठीक है? So carbon dioxide, balance कर लो इसको. There is going to be 2 carbon dioxide. There is going to be 3 H2O. So you can balance 2 2s are 4 and 3 7. 2 and 3. कितना आएगा? 3 2s are 6 and 1 is 7. Okay, so this is the combustion reaction which is going to take place. So these are the first type of reactions, reactions of alkyl group. Let's go on to reactions due to ethereal oxygen. The second type of reactions which we are going to do, they are reactions of ethereal oxygen. Right? The first reaction, that is oxidation and peroxide formation. Oxidation and peroxide formation. Over here we have an ether which is going to react with oxygen. In case of oxygen, you know that there are 6 electrons which are present. Now, in order to form a bond over here and to complete the octet, this oxygen will have a tendency to form a coordinate bond to form a peroxide. So we have over here this is how the coordinate bond is formed, and this is the peroxide of diethyl ether. Okay, this peroxide, that is a very, very heavy product which is formed, and it is pungent and it is oily in nature. Also, it is going to be unstable. Okay, then we come across another kind of ether over here which is known as absolute ether. Right, so you can write down what absolute ether is. It is the ether which is free of peroxide. Ether which is free of peroxide and can be prepared by distillation of can be prepared by distillation of ordinary ether from concentrated H2SO4 and subsequent storing over metallic sodium. Right? So generally whatever ether is going to be formed because of the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere, it is mostly going to form the corresponding peroxides. तो अगर peroxide से हमको free करना है तो उसके लिए हम इसको distillation करते हैं over H2SO4 और फिर उसको store करके रखते हैं over sodium. So that is going to give us absolute ether which will have no peroxide present in it. Then the third type of reactions which we will do, they are reactions involving cleavage of carbon-oxygen bond. Reactions involving cleavage of carbon-oxygen bond. Right? So the first one which we are going to do over here, that is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis way it is going to give us a mixture of alcohols. If we are taking unsymmetrical ether over here plus water, the reaction will take place in presence of an acid. We are elevating the temperature a little, so we are going to get a mixture of ROH plus ROH. We are getting a mixture of alcohols. So let's take an example. If in case we have RCHRO and we have over here R dash, hydrolysis of such kind of a compound, that is going to give us secondary alcohol and primary alcohol both. Right? Now if you are taking, this is another question of your competitions which we generally see over here, that is we are taking anisole OCH3 और इसको हम लोग react कर रहे हैं in presence of deuterium ion and H2O. If these are the reaction conditions which are given, we are going to get over here OD plus CH3OH. This is the compound which we are going to get over here. And if in case we are taking H positive and D2O in the same reaction, then we are going to get phenol plus CH3OD. Okay? Clear? Now over here, this reaction is going to follow the SN1 mechanism. Similarly, these reactions will also follow the SN1 mechanism, where the formation of a carbocation that is going to take place. Okay? The second reaction over here is reaction of concentrated H2SO4 reaction with concentrated H2SO4. Over here we are going to get a hydrogen sulfate which is going to be formed. So we have over here C2H5O, C2H5 plus H2SO4. This is going to give us ethyl hydrogen sulfate, ठीक है, plus water. In case of secondary and tertiary, if we are taking, we are going to get, this is a dehydration reaction जो कि यहाँ पे हो रही है, but अगर हम secondary और tertiary देंगे तो that is going to give us alkenes. So we have a compound like, this is a tertiary ether which we are taking over here in presence of H2SO4. The major products, they are going to be alkenes, CH3, C double bond, CH2, CH2 plus, CH3 plus, which is going to give us methyl alcohol. So CH3OH, okay, and plus it is going to give us an alkene. Now the next reaction which we are going to do, that is again a very, very important reaction. We're doing this under the same category. The reaction, the third type of reaction which we will discuss, this is again a reaction of your questions which can come from this section. Action of hydroiodic acid. Hydroiodic acid, right? Now over here, the ethereal linkage that can be easily broken by HI, and the product that is going to depend upon the amount of reactants and the type of reactants which we are going to take, right? So let's talk of mixed ethers over here. In case of mixed ethers, halogen atom will attack at the smaller alkyl group. Please remember this. Whenever we are going to take mixed ethers, the halogen atom is going to attack to a smaller, less complex alkyl group. So first of all, we will take an example of this. So this is a symmetrical ether. We are going to get C2H5I plus C2H5OH. Okay? But if you're taking over here an unsymmetrical ether, we are saying that iodine is going to attack at the smaller group. So the products over here, they are going to be CH3I plus C2H5OH. So the smaller group is going to form the iodides. So over here also you will be asked to tick the correct option of products. So always remember that the smaller group that is going to form the iodide and the larger group is going to form the alcohol. But if we are taking over here anisole, there is going to be a slight difference because of the more stability of the carbocation of this, as oxygen that is going to be in conjugation with the benzene ring over here. So what is going to happen? जब इसको OR आएगा तो OR इसमें से निकलेगा तो benzene जो होएगा that is going to have a positive charge, and that positive charge is going to be dispersed. Because of the stability of the benzene carbocation, the OH that is going to attack over here, right? So there is going to be a slight change as we will get OH plus. Alright. Right? So when we're talking of order of reactivity of halogen acids, HI is going to be most reactive because of the low bond dissociation energy of hydrogen iodide over here. Iodine can be easily liberated. Then it is HBr, and then it is going to be HCl. Right? So this is the first type when we are taking the unsymmetrical ethers. The second is when we are taking excess of HI, then what will happen? Second is when we are heating with excess of HI. In case of this, we will see that there is no alcohol which is going to be formed. It is only going to be iodide and the water molecule that is going to be eliminated. So we have over here C2H5O, C2H5 plus 2HI. We're taking excess of this thing and we're heating it at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. If these are the reaction conditions which are given to you, then the product over here that is going to be 2C2H5I plus H2O. No alcohol is going to be formed in this case. Is it clear? Now what is going to be the site of cleavage? This is very important. Because this site of cleavage that is going to help you to manipulate the product. You need to understand what is the site of cleavage to understand what the product is going to be. Right? Now, if you're taking the unsymmetrical ether, the site of cleavage will depend upon the nature of the alkyl groups. So we're saying that the site of cleavage will depend upon the nature of the alkyl groups. So we have over here C2H5O CH3. Okay? Over here, the smaller group, as we've already discussed, the smaller group will be retained with iodine. So we have CH3I, and the larger group with oxygen is going to go to form alcohols. Right? Now, if we are taking over here, we are saying that a smaller group will remain with iodine. If you are taking a tertiary this thing or a secondary ether over here, that is, we have a compound of the type right. इसकी valency पूरी करो यहाँ पे. There's going to be a H. If you're reacting this with HI, we are going to get a secondary alcohol, and again the smaller group that is going to stay with the iodine. Okay? Smaller group over here will also remain with iodine. Same. Now, if we are taking a tertiary compound, we are taking a tertiary ether over here, there is going to be a slight change. Now you know that 3-degree carbocation, that is going to be most stable. Okay, because this reaction is going to take the SN1 path, and the 3-degree carbocation is going to be most stable. Therefore, iodine being negatively charged will attack at this carbon atom, and we are going to get a tertiary halide over here. So we are going to get now over here you can see that the smaller group is retaining with the, or it is forming the alcohol, and the larger group that is going to form the halide. So this is how you are going to manipulate the product. Now why this is happening? Because this reaction is proceeding via SN1 mechanism. So in SN1 mechanism, the formation of carbocation is going to take place. The primary carbocation is less stable than tertiary carbocation. So over here the tertiary carbocation is going to be formed, and iodine being negatively charged will come and attack at the tertiary carbocation. So that is how the bigger group over here is that is going to form the iodide. Okay? Okay, then let's go on to another kind of compounds over here. Now, if in case we have alkyl aryl ethers, this we've already discussed. Alkyl aryl ethers means that we are taking anisole, reacting this with HI in presence, the reaction that is taking place at 100 degrees Celsius. Over here, always phenol is going to be formed. Again, because benzene ring, that is क्या कहते हैं उसको, is going to form the smaller group that is going to take the iodide. Right? Now, if in case we have larger alkyl group present, if we have a compound like this, okay, now in this case we will see that HI that is going to retain with the benzene ring. So we are going to get over here plus CH3OH. Why this is happening? This is because of the hindrance of the larger group, alkyl group, which is going to be present over here. Okay, so if there is anisole given, the product is always going to be phenol, but if we have a larger chain, this is going to be formed. Now diphenyl ethers, they cannot be formed, or they cannot be cleaved, or they are not reacted by HI because of steric hindrance. There are going to be two bulkier phenyl groups which are present, therefore the reaction that does not take place. Okay? So this is an important reaction from your examination point of view, specifically the competitions. One this and one we've already done the Williamson synthesis. These are two very important concepts which can be asked. Then let's go on to the fourth reaction over here. The fourth reaction under the same category, that is action with PCl5. This is going to give us the corresponding alkyl fluorides plus POCl3. Okay? Then we have the next one, reaction with acetyl fluoride. CH3COCl plus, this is going to form an ester, right? So the reaction that is taking place in presence of zinc chloride. This is our C2H5Cl that is going to be formed, plus formation of an ester that is going to take place, right? Then the next reaction is dehydration reaction. C2H5O, C2H5 in presence of Al2O3 at 300 degrees Celsius. This is going to give us the corresponding alkene, right? Dehydration reaction. So it is going to give us alkene. Now let's go on to the reactions of the benzene ring. The next kind of reactions which we are going to do, that is the fourth type of reactions. Electrophilic substitution reactions. Electrophilic substitution reactions. Again, the ethynyl oxygen that is going to be ortho and para-directing. Although it is not as activating as alcohol as we had done in case of alcohol, mostly what we were getting a tri-substituted product. But over here we will get a mono-substituted product because of deactivating nature of the ethynyl oxygen, right? But it is going to be, yes, ortho and para-directing. Okay. Now let's go on to the first type of reaction over here. These reactions are going to be same for all cases. Halogenation reaction, right? So anisole reacting with bromine in presence of carbon disulfide. This is going to give us a mixture of orthobromoanisole and parabromoanisole. Okay? But if you're doing the same reaction in presence of acetic acid, we are taking anisole, bromination in presence of acetic acid. This is going to give us 90% of parabromo compound. When we're doing it in CS2, we are getting a mixture of ortho and para, and if you're doing it in acetic acid, we are getting 90% para. Okay? The second reaction over here is the nitration reaction. Again, the nitro group will be directed towards the ortho and the para position. Nitration reaction. Nitration में we are reacting anisole with concentrated HNO3 in presence of concentrated H2SO4 to give us a mixture of orthonitro anisole plus paranitro anisole. Okay? And the last reaction we are going to do, that is Friedel-Crafts alkylation and Friedel-Crafts alkylation and acetylation reaction. Okay? So alkylation means introduction of an alkyl group. We have anisole plus CH3Cl. The reaction will take place in presence of anhydrous AlCl3. So we are going to get 2-methoxytoluene and 4-methoxytoluene. This is 2-methoxytoluene and 4-methoxytoluene. Okay? And acetylation means introduction of an acetyl group. Over here, we are going to react anisole with acetyl chloride. Again, the reaction will take place in presence of anhydrous AlCl3. This is going to give us orthomethoxyacetophenone and paramethoxyacetophenone.